Sensorimotor OCD can feel like the worst type of OCD. And that was certainly the case for me for many, many years when I was struggling with it. I felt like I was never going to get rid of it. Maybe other themes that I struggled with, I could kind of learn to deal with those, learn to kind of allow some uncertainty there. But the sensorimotor OCD felt different. It felt harder. It felt more stubborn. No matter what I did, it would always be there. And sometimes it would be there all the time. You know, I would be kind of thinking about it no matter what I did. And it was so frustrating, so hard, you know, when I was kind of really caught up in that. And I would find myself, you know, really reflecting on this, you know, why is it that sensorimotor OCD feels so difficult, feels so different from other types of OCD? And, you know, actually, you know, there is a kind of clear difference when we reflect on it. And there are reasons for why it feels a lot more stubborn. But ultimately, in my experience, it's actually no more harder to deal with than other types of OCD. It just kind of feels that way. But when you really begin to understand it, when you really begin to understand that it's really about uncertainty and anxiety at the heart of it, you know, like all types of OCD, then actually you begin to realize that it is something that you can overcome. So I think that the main difference with sensorimotor OCD is actually that the kind of obsession is obviously internal to us. It's really focused on bodily actions, things that, you know, in the past, maybe we just kind of took for granted that we didn't really worry about too much. And if you are struggling with sensorimotor OCD, I do now have a 12-week program to help you to break free. It's based upon my own personal experiences of dealing with sensorimotor OCD and now having helped many people to overcome it. If you're interested in applying for that, you can by heading over to my website at robertjamescoaching.com. There you can book in for a free discovery call. And yeah, I think the main difference is the fact that these internal kind of obsessions, they can be with us potentially all the time. And I think that's the hard thing about sensorimotor OCD. It feels that no matter what you do, you can still be aware of that thing. Perhaps with other types of obsessions, you can perform the compulsion, and maybe you might get some momentary relief for a while. But with sensorimotor OCD, it feels like that obsession is potentially always going to be there, no matter what you do. And I think that's where so much of the frustration and the anger with it comes, and sometimes that feeling of hopelessness. Other types of OCD normally are really about external things to us. You know, we're kind of worrying about contamination, or, you know, whether we have definitely turned off the oven, or maybe you're focused on your relationship, or, you know, maybe you're really getting stuck in kind of rituals. You know, typically they tend to be things that are more focused outside of us. But the thing is, they're also about uncertainty. At its heart, sensorimotor OCD is about this uncertainty about, you know, is this going to go away? How do we make it go away? What's making it stick around? And we end up ruminating on all of these things. How do I do that thing in the right way again? How do I make it go away? How do I swallow perfectly? How do I breathe correctly? How do I stop noticing my heart? You know, and unfortunately, all of these things that we do, you know, we're actually just looking for certainty, in the same way that somebody who might struggle with contamination OCD wants to kind of wash their hands. There's kind of the same thing that's going on with sensorimotor OCD, where we're looking for certainty about the best way to fix it. We're ruminating about that all the time. We're thinking there's a perfect way to do that thing, or there's a perfect answer. In reality, you know, what I found in my own experience is that, you know, that perfect answer really comes from not doing very much at all, from actually learning how to let go, rather than trying to do things in a perfect way, or believing that, you know, you can kind of think your way out of this. It's really about learning to bring much more acceptance and compassion to that awareness, to you know, to accept that it is there for whatever reason. It doesn't mean it's always going to be there. That's us getting caught up in a narrative. When we can bring more you know, acceptance to that awareness, when we can at least tolerate it, you know, and try to focus on other things, try to focus on valued activities and come back into the present, and we try to act as if, we were already perhaps feeling the way in which we really wish we were feeling. These kinds of actions often lead to us, acting in a way that we would do normally. And it gives us a bit more space. It gives the sensorimotor awareness an opportunity to actually begin to take a little bit of a back seat. Really, what's the difference between normal OCD and sensorimotor OCD? Well, of course, sensorimotor OCD, the obsession is really fixed inward on bodily sensations, bodily actions. Normally, other types of OCD tend to be more focused on things outside of us. But ultimately, it's always about uncertainty. And sensorimotor OCD is something that you can learn to overcome. It's something that I've managed to do myself, and many of my clients have been able to do so as well. And, if you're interested in getting a free discovery call with me to find out about my programs, you can by heading over to robertjamescoaching.com to book in there for that free discovery call. And I really hope that you found this helpful. If you have any questions at all, do please let me know, and I will see you next time. This video is for education only. It's not therapy or medical advice. If you're struggling, please speak with a licensed mental health professional.